Welcome, classic rock fans, to another trawl through my CD collection. Now, if my memory serves me right, we're kind of getting through the Bs, which is a huge section, so it might take 2 or 3 videos. And do be sure to stick around to the end, where I will show you my favourite CD in any given batch. So, we ended with the Beach Boys last time, if my memory serves me right, so we should start with the Beatles, and let's look at this wonderful, lavish set, Abbey Road, which many argue is a little bit twee, but nevertheless it's beautifully orchestrated. And of course this box set features the long one, which is worth the price of admission alone. I generally love what Giles Martin does with these sets. I love the way they sound, and the attention to detail is just fabulous. And I really enjoy this one. And this always used to be my favourite Beatles album. It's kind of slipped from grace a little bit over the years, but I still adore it. It's still absolutely fabulous. So there you are, Beatles, Abbey Road. I'm pretty sure you've already got this anyway. Let's move straight on to the next one. And the next one is this wonderful, colossal box set marking the Let It Be album, or the Get Back sessions, collated and called Let It Be. It's an intriguing, although it's a kind of a fraught time for the Beatles, I think. But what's interesting about this, of course, is it features the Glyn Johns mix. Ultimately, my favourite version of this record is the stripped version, not stripped naked, where we actually get to hear the long and winding road the way it's supposed to sound, without being slathered with all those Spectre strings and harps and oohing choirs and things like that. But this is, like all these Beatles boxes, they're just a must-have. I always feel it's a bit of miss of me that I didn't actually shell out for the Sgt. Pepper one. Instead, I plumbed for the 2 CD version. I always regret that now. I don't know if you can, I think the deluxe version of the Beatles Sgt. Pepper goes for horrible prices on eBay now. And speak of the devil, here we have the offending article, the 2 CD version of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This is one of the best jobs, I think, done by Giles Martin, because it sounds absolutely incredible. Also featuring, of course, Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane, songs that were part of the Pepper sessions, and my word, what an album this would have been had they actually made it onto the final record. Limitations of vinyl and all that, I guess, but I did a video on Sgt. Pepper Reconfigured. I might put the card up here where I talk about if you add Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane, what would you drop off to make room for it? But as many of you have pointed out, it should just be kind of left alone as it is. Sticking with the Beatles is this one, number 1. It's a compilation which I think I purchased on CD to allow my children the opportunity to familiarise themselves with this wonderful band. Unbeknown to me, of course, kids these days don't even listen to CDs. It's all download and what should I call it, Spotify and stuff like that. So this has languished on my shelf unloved, unfortunately, but it's loved by me because I think it's a fabulous compilation. Then we get this one, Magical Mystery Tour, which I bought some years ago, and it's still in its cellophane. I've never unwrapped it. I think I managed to download the files that were made available via Amazon Music, so I never actually unwrapped it. I'll probably leave these in the cellophane now, as I figured there'll be deluxe editions and I can sell these as new, which wouldn't be a lie, would it? And this, in my opinion, is the finest Beatles album, which is Rubber Soul. Again, another one still in its cellophane. I'll be honest with you, I'm hoping for a deluxe edition of this coming real soon, especially with the marvellous work Giles Martin did with creating the mono mix for the Revolver album. But this is my favourite Beatles album. I'm fascinated to see what they can delve up or dredge up from the archives to put on this one. They're sometimes worth buying just for the packaging and the book, actually the actual book you get with it as well. It's just absolutely fabulous. And of course this, the aforementioned Let It Be Naked. What I like about this is it actually feels more like an album. The original Let It Be album feels a little bit more like a kind of hobbled together sessions, really, which is exactly what it was, of course, but this feels a little bit more coherent to me. It sounds better. I might be in the minority, but I really do prefer this album without all the production affectations that Phil Spector added much later. I don't agree with John Lennon where he said Spector took the biggest pile of shit there was and made it and salvaged it. Words to that effect. I think I go with McCartney's ears on this one. I think this is a much finer version of Let It Be. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, though. I'd be interested to hear from you. And here's one that I almost missed out. God knows how I managed to do that, but this is the wonderful Revolver box set. I listened to this recently, and my God, it sounds good. In my opinion, anyway. I absolutely adore the new stereo mix of this. I always keep the original CDs. I always think they're going to produce a mix that I'm not happy with. Pink Floyd's Animals, for example, or George Harrison's All Things Must Pass. I absolutely hate that version. But this, of course, sounds absolutely brilliant, and I absolutely adore the new stereo mix and the technology that went into creating it. I just look forward to the implications that technology might have for other recordings, certain live recordings and things like that. They could, faff about with and make them a little bit more palatable and saleable. But yes, this is absolutely remarkable. The Beatles Revolver. These are expensive, of course, these sets, but they are incredibly beautifully put together, very lavish, and worth every penny, in my opinion. And here's a couple of CDs by a band that I think are absolutely fabulous, but I've never yet got to see, which is a bit remiss of me, actually, because they're a great southern rock band, or certainly in that vein, and they come to the British Isles quite often, but I've never seen them because they never play here, really. I live somewhere where I either have to get a taxi back from somewhere at vast expense because the trains don't run after about 9:30, or get a hotel. And a hotel, you're not going to get a hotel shy of £100 these days. All that crap about the Premier Inn rooms for £39. I've never found a room for £39 with a Premier Inn. Maybe Skegness on Boxing Day or something, who knows. Anyway, this is Blackberry Smoke, Holding All the Roses. And now this is a signed edition, I'm sure it is. It comes with a signed card. And there you go. I hope you can see that. Isn't that great? I love this album. And I've got this one as well. The Whippoorwill. The Whippoorwill? Or Whippinpool? Whippoorwill. I can't even say that. I've got a frightful cold, so you'll forgive me. But another great album. But again, I'd like to see this band. They make music that I thoroughly enjoy. Talking of music I thoroughly enjoy, let's have a conversation about this band, Big Train. I love this album, I really do. I thought it's fabulous. I never got the one that came afterwards, so I've not heard that, but this one I really enjoyed, and I did a review of it on my channel, which you can go and check out if you wish. Likewise, this one is because it fascinates me. I love this delving into sort of folklore. Songs from the Wood by Jethro Tull, with its exploration of myth and English lore, is just an absolutely fabulous album. And likewise, this is intriguing as well, sonically as well as thematically. This was one of the first reviews I did for my Patreon, as a Patreon requested review. It's now available on my main channel. You can go and check that out as well. But Big Train are another band that I have never seen. I don't think they tour very often. And when they do tour, they just play a few days. They've certainly never come here anyway. So yeah, Big Train, I do enjoy them, although I've only got 2 albums by them. This album, Jeff Beck, Truth. I've done a video of this on my Patreon. You'll have to wait about a year or so before it eventually makes its way onto my main channel. But this is a hugely influential record. Hugely influential. Of course, featuring stuff like quite eclectic stuff like Green Sleeves, and the beautiful version of Love Is Blue, I think, is on here as well. I can't find it, I need my glasses, but Beck's Deluxe, Beck's Bolero, Blues Deluxe, sorry, Beck's Bolero, absolutely fabulous stuff, featuring the young and raspy voice of Rod Stewart. I think Ronnie Wood plays on this as well. And maybe even, I think even Keith Moon plays on it at some level, I can't remember. I do these reviews and research and forget all the information, but I've got a kind of addled brain at the moment, Lemsip addled brain. But absolutely wonderful album. Jeff Beck, this is the only Jeff Beck album I own, which is a bit remiss. I should get, isn't it Beck La, which is another one, which is said to be an incredible record. I think I might put it on my Amazon wish list, but I will get it eventually. Jeff Beck Truth, cited by Mick Box as being the album that turned him onto the guitar, or certainly showed him the way with the guitar. There's one track on here where he actually does kind of impersonates the Animals. He's in the song purely through the sound of his guitar. It's absolutely remarkable. Anyway, Jeff Beck Truth. If you haven't got it, do check it out. Do listen to it. This band, interesting band, have spent more years at each other's throats than actually playing music, which is a shame, really, because when they do play music, it's remarkable. They supported the Stones, I think, on the what tour was it? Was it the Steel Wheels tour, Urban Jungle tour? Do correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong, man. But I saw them on the Bridges to Babylon tour, and they weren't supporting then. Support came from Sheryl Crow, actually. This is like the kind of deluxe version. It's a 2 CD version of this wonderful, wonderful album. Love the artwork. Again, they did a tour that was a reunion tour that was kicked up the road due to COVID, and then came back, and I don't know if it's finished or did it ever happen. But another band I wouldn't mind seeing. The Black Crowes, Shake Your Money Maker. What an album. This is an interesting record. It's a fine, fine album of late 60s rock. Hugely influential, certainly on me. In the presence of the Lord on here. It's worth having this album just for that track. I mean, my word, you've got Ginger Baker and Steve Winwood and Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton apparently wasn't very happy when he found out Ginger Baker was in the band. He said, "Oh, thanks a lot, I'm back in Cream." But it is a wonderful album. It sounds beautiful, but it's an album that seems to be overlooked in the classic rock narrative these days, not often talked about. I wonder if that's got something to do with its very inappropriate cover, conveniently covered up here by the deluxe edition thingamabob. Contrary to rumours, I should point out my phone blooping away. Contrary to rumours, of course, the model on the sleeve is not Ginger Baker's daughter. But yeah, this is a great album. Rick Gresh, Ginger Baker, Steve Winwood, Eric Clapton. A fine album of, I only wish there'd been more, I guess. But with those personalities coming together, we were lucky to get one album, I suppose. Of course, they did that wonderful set in Hyde Park, didn't they? Which I think was recorded, I believe, or maybe bootlegged at least. But yeah, great record by a band that are not often mentioned anymore. I tell you a band that are not often mentioned anymore, and that's Free. Is it just me, or I never hear anyone talking about Free, and I haven't done any videos on Free, which is a bit of miss of me, I think. Now, I had all those remastered Free CDs quite a while ago, but I sold them all because I read in Mojo magazine, it was an interview with Andy Fraser, I believe, but he said soon to come out is like a 10 or 14 disc ultimate Free box set, which would include all the albums, plus loads and loads of unreleased stuff. That never ever materialised, and I often wonder what happened to that. Or I often wonder whether or not I was hallucinating when I read it, quite possibly, but I'm pretty sure I remember Andy Fraser saying that in an interview with Mojo magazine. Was it Q? Nevertheless, the point being that there was supposed to be this humongous Free box set coming out. Since then, Free are a band that have just drifted away and fallen off the classic rock radar. Don't understand why, because they made some incredible music in their day. In my opinion, superior to what Bad Company churned out, but that might be a bone of contention for you guys to gnaw on in the comments. And I think we'd call it a day there, actually, but I have to share with you the box set, the CD, or collection of CDs, which I think is my favourite out of any given batch. I know you've all been salivating to see that, and that's this one. The White Album. I always loved the White Album. It's an eclectic, messy album, which part of its charm is because it's eclectic and messy. We just love that. And this, of course, features nearly dropped it then. This, of course, features the Escher demos, which I had on a bootleg CD many years ago, and used to just lose myself in the beautiful version of George Harrison's While My Guitar Gently Weeps. But this is, I just love it. I even love all the twee numbers like Obla-Dee, Obla-Da, and Rocky Raccoon. A lot of you have said what a dreadful Beatles number that is, but I absolutely love it. I do. I consider in Gush over how much I enjoy this album. In fact, I'll have to go away and give it a good listen to again, drive my children mad with it. With Hey Bungalow Bill, Sexy Sadie, Helter Skelter. No need fly in the ointment, and you guess what I'm going to say is I really wish they'd lost or ditched Revolution 9 at the end. Very odd bit of avant-garde soundscaping, which was probably in keeping with the late 60s, I suppose. However, I just sort of think about the wonderful tracks that were missed off this album that could have been on there if that pile of poop had been left in the can. Anyway, there you go. That's just my opinion, of course. But this is my favourite box set in this batch, the Beatles White Album. Again, I'm not going to tell you what the number of the album is, but it's of course overseen by Giles Martin. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this instalment of my CD collection. We'll continue with these. I think they're quite interesting little videos to make, and you guys often requested that I do this, so there you are. Again, I apologise for my shitty voice, which is why I've refrained from making in-depth reviews and things, because I just sound so crap at the moment. I mean, I've got a wonderful video on Songs from the Wood to do. I really have. Plus the review of the new Tull album is coming, but I just want to wait till I sound a little bit better. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Do click like, subscribe, and check that notification bell. Wow, that just rolls off. It's automatic now. I didn't even have to think about it. And I will leave you with my closing salvo, which is, as you know, hope you're staying safe and well, and more importantly, that you keep listening.